very lucky because this was probably more fun than plenary, and also today is not just the Fossil of the Day award, but actually the Fossil of the Year. Yes, that is right. The colossal fossil that all countries dread in their sleep and tremble in the face of. Can we hear a practice? Ooh. Yes. And this year, the Fossil of the Year is so extreme. I'm going to have a hard time not getting angry about it. But today's program will show just the difference between what is being done here. Some countries that are making the bold transition towards 1% renewable energy, and some countries that are making the brave and necessary steps towards 100% renewable energy. You can guess which one of that scale gets the fossil today. So, when we evaluate the Fossil of the Year, it's a complicated process. We take into account all of the people that have won this year. Turkey, Germany, the European Union, the European Commission, New Zealand, Australia, Russia, and New Zealand again, and Indonesia.
Austria?
But only one of these countries will win the Fossil of the Year award. And this is a country that has gone through a rigorous process of examination to figure out just who actually is the worst. Can I have an assistant come up here and hold this thing for me? Yep, there we go. Stand on this little box here. Because, great, the worst. And it's not easy to be the worst, ladies and gentlemen, because there's quite a lot of things you need to be pretty seriously messing up.
You hold the top. Yeah, there you go.
Is it redundant? There's no. Okay.
That's not on purpose. There you go.
There's a long list of things that have to be done. But this country really takes the cake and does them all. Gas, sorry, I'm going to write on you. Gas, definitely. This is their big thing. And not only are they supporting a national transition of local coal to gas, but this is their political strategy to make sure they're allowed to do all the other stuff they want to do. Oil, this is going to get awkward unless you whip this thing up. Oil, definitely. This country spills 1.5 million tons of oil every year. I'm going to say that again. This country spills 1.5 million tons of oil every year. Hydro, yep, they got that one too. Not only are they disrespecting indigenous lands, but they are pushing ahead hydro, which we know is not a solution in a certain region of their country that I will not name because it will give it away. Coal, oh man, they've got all sorts of health problems related from their massive open cast coal mines that are spanning the country and causing all sorts of problems. What? Nuclear. Yes, you may remember them as the only country that actually brought a nuclear corporation with them to COP. I mean, a lot of us brought pins, leaflets, flags, hats, but bringing a nuclear company is that's pushing it, people. And repression. This country has some pretty serious issues around environmental defenders declaring people as foreign agents, which can be almost any NGO that receives international funds, hitting them with massive fines, jail, or even violence. This is a pretty big thing. And we've got one more thing here, but before we get into that, I want to just clarify that they're not all bad, okay? Really, this country isn't 100% bad. It's got a very special solution. Ta-da! You can't see them.
No.
Okay, well they are technically invisible, but these nanotubes are going to allow us to sequester large amounts of carbon, reducing the carbon emissions by maintaining that products can last just a little bit longer before we have to compost them, decompose them. Actually, no, these things get landfill them, or recycle them. So, sorry, this country, but nanotubes is not actually gonna solve the climate crisis. But the last, but not least, is this is the only country that is still pushing ahead with oil drilling in the Arctic. Besides, I don't want to say the only country, but they're really going for it here. And as such, we have a very special guest here. Let me just check this one off. We have a very special guest here who I think will get great personal joy out of presenting this award. And who knows very well this issue of Arctic drilling. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a large round of applause for one of our esteemed members of the Arctic 30 here to present today's Fossil of the Day Award. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, in case you haven't guessed it yet, you might really be out of the loop, I would say. Ladies and gentlemen, a drum roll, if you please. Russia! Thank you. You can go in now. Russia, can you come up here?
Yes.
Here you are. And here is your certificate. And here to present the prestigious award, one of our members of the Arctic 30, who could maybe say a few words just about your experiences with Russia.
I experienced firsthand Russia's oil addiction, protested against it 3 years ago, and ended up 2 months in prison. And 3 years later, this country has put forward one of the weakest targets any country has ever done. It hasn't ratified the Paris Agreement, has been lobbying throughout the COP for nuclear, and recently one of the top climate advisors of Putin said, well guys, I guess we don't really need to phase out fossil fuels. So this colossal fossil of COP22 is deserved to go to Russia.
Thank you so much. Let me just see this certificate.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This year's Colossal Fossil Award goes to Russia for peddling nonsense and generally being a massive drag on ambition. Throughout the UN climate change negotiations here in Marrakech, Russia has blindly lobbied for nuclear power deployment, continued to abstain from ratifying the Paris Agreement, and said they do not see phasing out fossil fuels as an element of their plan to reduce dangerous emissions. That last one came right from the lips of President Putin's advisor on climate change, Mr Bedritsky. Thank you. We assume that Mr. either missed his own briefing sessions every day since he was appointed, or is totally ignoring the science and political direction the world is taking on this issue. Either way, it is not good for both a Russia that stands to get left behind and all of the rest of us on planet Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, a final boo for this year's Colossal Fossil. Thank you. You may step down now. Because we will not let the story end here. Because today, I don't know if you saw it, but sometimes good things do actually happen here at the COP. And today we saw just one such of those moments of light that can happen here, when some leaders step up and shine a light and let us remember that there is not enough darkness in the world to extinguish a single candle. That's right, some people today stood up and took responsibility when no one else did, as they did in Paris. And and we can say, and their very document says the response to climate change is climate justice and social justice in action. In partnership and with the support of the international community, we aim to survive and thrive in a world where, as soon as possible and at the latest by 2030. Yeah. Sorry. Cool. But let this be a strong reminder to all of the other developing nations, and maybe it's time you develop some sense of justice. Ladies and gentlemen, we have not given this out in a year, but we would like to invite some leaders from the Climate Vulnerable Forum to come forward and accept the prestigious Ray of the Day. Come forward, come forward. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Everyone upstairs. Thank you so much. And here, as a symbol of our appreciation, we have a little Ray of the Day award. Some pins that you may actually keep.
Either you go down or...
We'll get you down. And a Ray of the Day.
To the ladies here.
Thank you so much. Would you like to say a few words about the hard, necessary, important work you've been doing?
Thank you very much to all of you. On behalf of the Climate Vulnerable Forum, which grew from 43 to 47 member countries today, and we have all declared that we're going to go 100% renewable. If we can do it, the
few countries that adding each to other will make us stronger, and a stronger voice will take us to a better position for the planet and for humanity.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you to the Climate Vulnerable Forum for helping the smaller countries, especially the ones that are very vulnerable, to join together in order that our cause will become stronger.
So our microphones aren't as nice as the ones inside.
Thank you very much for taking the cause for us too. We might be the victim, but also this is to show that we can be part of the solution and we can take the lead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. A real round of applause to these brave countries who are showing the rest of the world there's no more space for excuses. And the only thing standing in the way of the necessary political action is the political will. So thank you so much for your leadership, for leading us towards 2020 targets and 100% renewable energy, and reminding us that this is just not an option, this is really about survival. Thank you so much for your bravery. Distracting you from the real work that's going on in there. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, turn that frown upside down because the ray of the COP Award has been presented. The Climate Vulnerable Forum receives this for pledging to go 100% renewable. These countries are some of the most vulnerable to climate impacts and are largely without huge financial resources to draw upon. But they nonetheless are stepping up ahead of most of the rich nations. pledging to take aggressive action to tackle climate change. The countries of the Climate Vulnerable Forum are an example to all other governments. They are striving to go 100% renewable, to limit global warming to 1.5, to stay alive, and to thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thus concludes the highs and the lows of this year, and concludes the Fossil of the Day Awards, unless somehow this plenary drags on until tomorrow and we all have to come back, but let's hope that's not going to happen. Thank you very much, and I would like to invite all of you to join us one last time in singing the Fossil of the Day song, and we will see you next year and every year for the next 50, 70 years. Just kidding. Cool. And remember as you go back that this is just part of the work. The real work is at home. Countries have to develop their goals, and people have to force these goals to be implemented so that everyone can come back here and speak power to the words they've signed. Ladies and gentlemen,